Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here, and the Washington football team falls to 2-3 after losing to the New Orleans Saints 33-22. This was a very winnable game for the Washington football team, but they couldn't pull it out. So we're going to be recapping today's game, talk about some of the biggest takeaways, some players that played well, and the players that did not play well. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. Also hit that like button and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Also check out WinView with the link that is on your screen right now. They got a bunch of free contests that you guys can join right now, so make sure you guys check them out and you guys can win some money. Let's get right into the recap. Man, where do I even start with this game? 33-22, and this is just a pathetic performance by the Washington football team, both by the offense and the defense. I mean, the defense was terrible, and so was the offense. I mean, even though the defense was not good at all, they did make some plays and allowed the Washington football team's offense to start out in good field position a few times, and the offense just couldn't convert. And I want to say something. The punter on the Saints won them the game. That's what, I mean, just think about it. He had 3 punts inside the 3-yard line. Yes, there were some lucky bounces where, got out right at the 1-yard line. It almost was a touchback like 2 out of those 3 times. But he had some great punts, and if it wasn't for those punts, it could have been a totally different game because, he pinned us at the 1-yard line right before, halftime. If that doesn't happen, we're starting at the 20. Maybe we're trying to score instead of just trying to get out of the 1-yard line, and the Saints probably don't get a Hail Mary, and maybe we even score before the half. And then also the same, in the second half, we start at the 1, and then Taylor Heinicke throws an interception. He had a great day. I just want to look. I know it doesn't matter too much, but he had a great game. He averaged 53.6 yards a punt. He was insane today. And, Tressway was good as well, but Blake Gilligan was really, really good. Let's start off with the defense, man. I don't want to hear anything from Jack Del Rio, Ron Rivera, any of the defensive coaches about, all these mistakes are correctable. No. It's been 5 weeks of consistent miscommunication, blown coverages every single game. Every week after the second week of the season, I've said, one of my keys to victory, or just, talking in the preview, is we have to have better communication, and we have to limit the big plays, because against a team like the Saints, besides Alvin Kamara, they really don't have anyone that's going to hurt you that bad, unless, of course, you have a busted coverage, and they had so many of those today, but especially the one where Landon Collins I don't even know where to start with him. He should not be on the field as a strong safety over Cameron Curl, who also, Cameron Curl did not have a great game either, but Landon Collins was awful. And that's a 72-yard touchdown after your defense on the first drive makes a great play. Cole Holcomb has an interception, puts the offense in great field position. They only score 3 points, but then the next drive, you lose all your momentum after allowing a 72-yard completion. The next drive, defense shows up. Chase Young makes a huge play, sacks him, strip sacks him, and we're able to get the ball back. And, the defense just was too inconsistent, and the miscommunication, it's an issue, but also they're missing tackles, doing too many penalties, like William Jackson, that 15-yard penalty. I know it's tough. You think Taysom Hill's going to come down with the catch. You're trying to, force the incompletion, but he has 5 penalties this year, which leads the league as a defender, and he probably has 4 penalties that are over 15 yards this year. He has not been great. I know he's been, he's had some moments, but he's also had a few blown coverages, and 5 penalties is just unacceptable. The defense, I'll say the defensive line was solid today. They were able to get pressure. I want to look at the total. They had, 9 quarterback hits, which, isn't bad. The Saints had 8 quarterback hits, but we were, depleted on our offensive line. I thought Chase Young had a great game, consistent pressures. He was pretty good for us. He finally got that sack. He got he had the forced fumble, which was huge for us. I thought, Matt Ioannidis had a few big plays. He was great. Dron Payne had a sack. I thought our defensive line was pretty good. Not great in the run game, but besides that was good. One thing I need to make sure I say now because I don't want to forget, what happened to Jamin Davis? I only saw him I saw him for a couple possessions. Maybe it was like in the first quarter, and then after that, maybe it was in the second quarter. I really didn't see him at all. And, the team, usually when there's a player hurt, they put out a statement like, so-and-so player is questionable to return with a knee injury or whatever they say. And they didn't put that out with Jamin Davis. So I'm not sure what's up with that because, David Mayo was getting snaps over him. And I don't care how bad Jamin Davis is playing, David Mayo should not be getting snaps over Jamin Davis. So I'm really curious to hear what the explanation is for that because he probably played maybe 10, 15 snaps. And as a first round pick, that cannot happen. That really cannot happen at all. But I thought our defensive line was solid. Jonathan Allen had 3 quarterback hits. Chase Young had a sack and a quarterback hit. Also, he had 3 total tackles. But our secondary, literally every single person in our secondary today was bad. Kendall Fuller had a couple okay plays, but he also had a play where he allowed a big play as well. What I don't understand is so many times on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 2nd and 10, when sometimes they know that the Saints were going to pass, they're giving each receiver 10 yards of cushion, and I just don't understand why you're doing that, really easily allowing the Saints to get 6, 7 easy yards. Like there was one time where they're lining up 10 yards, 12 yards away from the receiver on the 3rd and 6, and they easily completed it. That's on the coaching because there's no way the players are deciding where they're lining up. That is on Jack Del Rio. The scheme has been bad. And, it falls on Jack Del Rio and also a lot of the players, in the secondary as well. Like, I had people telling me that Bobby McCann has been great for us in the first 5, or not great. They've been saying he's been good for us in the first 5 weeks. I don't know about that. Last week, missed about 3-4 tackles, a lot of blown coverage. Today, missed a tackle in, open field against Kamara, which allowed the touchdown. He was the last guy. He allowed the touchdown. Had a couple other blown coverages as well on the Hail Mary. He was just nowhere to be seen. He was one of the only guys that weren't where the ball was. Probably wouldn't have made a difference, but he wasn't great at all. He wasn't good at all. Landon Collins, I don't even have to say anything. He was not good. Missing tackles, blowing coverages, just terrible. Paying him $17 million, he's awful. Like, I don't know what else to say. He is not a good football player. And I saw them, line him up as a linebacker a few times. I like that. I want to see that more because there's no reason he should be playing snaps at strong safety for us when we have, Cameron Curl. I don't think he had a great game today. He had a couple good plays, but I thought he, was a little bit underwhelming, but was still much better than Landon Collins. And I think Cameron Curl should be playing strong safety for us. And then maybe consider bringing in Jeremy Reeves or DeShazer Everett at free safety because, those players aren't great, but Bobby McCain has not been good so far for us. Maybe you put Bobby McCain in as a slot corner because that's what he was good at, with the Dolphins. And, I didn't talk about the Hail Mary too much, but that was just pathetic. I know it. Some people want to point to Jack Del Rio on that one, and that's understandable, but the reason they weren't playing prevent defense is the Saints had like 8 or 9 seconds left on the clock. They were at the 50, they had 49 yards to go, so they could have easily thrown like a 10, 12-yard pass, and it could have been enough to put them in field goal range. So Jack Del Rio, I guess, just didn't want them to do that, and, just a pathetic effort by the defense on that play. No one really tried to go up. Benjamin St. Juste messed up. Landon Collins, Cameron Curl, there was a bunch of guys there that could have made a play, could have laid them out. Callaway out, made a hit. They didn't. No one really tried there, and it was just really a momentum killer. That's 7 points right at the end of the half. It's 13-13. You really should be winning by more, but they allow a touchdown at the end of the half, and that's just a momentum killer. That's it on the defense. I'll probably talk about it more in this week. I'll talk about more this week, but defense wasn't good at all, underperforming, and it really came down to a few plays. Hail Mary, obviously, the other blown coverage by Landon Collins, and there was a long run by Kamara as well. Now let's go on to the offense. Offense was very, very ugly today, starting with Taylor Heinicke. I know some people love Taylor Heinicke. I'm kind of in the middle. I like the story, and I like what I see from him at times, but you can just see the limitations with him. I'll read the stats first: 20 for 41, 248 yards, and no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and got sacked twice. I mean, he just doesn't have enough arm strength. I mean, he's sometimes all the time, just lobbing the ball up, and it's like, dude, you got to put more zip on it, because if you keep lobbing it up, they're either going to break it up or your receiver isn't going to have a chance to get the ball. I mean, DeAndre Carter was wide open on the first possession. There was 1 or 2 times where Adam Humphries was open. Same thing with Terry McLaurin. And the second pick was just, I don't know what he was trying for there. I mean, the guy, I can't even remember who he was throwing to, but there was nothing there. And then the throw to Curtis Samuel, if you're going to do that, Curtis Samuel's not open at all, but if you're going to do that, throw it, to where the defender doesn't have a chance to, catch it, and maybe Curtis Samuel has a low chance, but he has a chance. That's what you want to do right there. But Taylor Heinicke was very underwhelming today, 20 for 41. 2 interceptions, could have been a lot more. Could have been 2 interceptions on the first drive. Antonio Gibson, I know the stats don't look great for him, but I thought he played a pretty good game, and you might say, why is that? He only averaged 3 yards a carry. Well, if you really think about it, there was 1 carry where he got -7 yards. That is not on him at all. The play design wasn't great, and I think Ricky Seals-Jones, or it might have been the right tackle, whoever was in at the moment, didn't block correctly, and it's just a loss of 7, and that's not on him. And then he had like 5 or 6 plays where he's just at the 1, basically trying to get 1 or 2 yards to inch the offense forward, to give room for the punter. So I thought Gibson played pretty well. Heinicke did some things with his legs. 5 carries for 40 yards, that's pretty good. Patterson was solid out there, 4 carries for 13 yards, had a nice 9-yard carry, and also had a nice conversion on 2nd and 1. DeAndre Carter was probably our best offensive player today. 1 carry for 11 yards, but he also had 4 catches for 62 yards. He was really good today. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from DeAndre Carter. I didn't think Scott Turner had a great game today offensively, calling plays, but I did think he did a great job involving DeAndre Carter in the offense. Now let's talk about the injuries real quick. And one thing, the CBS broadcast kept on talking about how much the Saints are injured. The Saints are dealing with so many injuries, and they lost so many players in this game. I mean, do they not, remember that we have Brandon Sheriff out, Logan Thomas out on our offense, Cam Sims, De'Ami Brown, Sam Cosmi got hurt, and then Curtis Samuel got hurt. That was just annoying to me because they kept saying it over and over and over again. But yeah, Curtis Samuel tweaked his groin again. It's super, super frustrating. He was questionable, and maybe he shouldn't have played, but at this point, it's just I don't even know if it's going to be able to heal before the season ends, unless they really shut him down for a long period of time, because it just doesn't look like it's going to heal. And I don't know, maybe a surgery will be the answer, but I don't know. And Sam Cosmi going down, that was just really, really tough. He's been really good for us. He's been really good for us so far. Our best rookie so far this year, and he got hurt on that touchdown with Antonio Gibson, and then he tried to gut through it, which I love to see, but just couldn't do it, and that's really, really unfortunate because he's a great player, great guy, and tough to see him hurting out there. Hopefully he's back, but he got ruled out really quickly after that. After he came back on the field. Like I said, DeAndre Carter was great. Adam Humphries was really efficient. 3 catches, 73 yards. He had some really, really nice catches out there. I thought he played well. Talked about DeAndre Carter. He was a beast today. Terry McLaurin, 4 catches, 46 yards. It was tough for him because a lot of the he did make a clutch play where he drew a pass interference in the end zone, so I will give him props for that. He's also going up against one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL in Marshawn Lattimore, and also a cornerback that knows him really, really well. And, usually when, two players know each other really well at cornerback and receiver, usually the advantage usually goes to the corner, and he had that advantage today. He had a great game. I thought he, got away with some pass interferences sometimes, but he had a great game. McLaurin didn't have a great game, but I'm not really going to fault anything on him. He did his best, and really not many passes where he got thrown from Heinicke that were really catchable that he didn't come down with. Not just because Heinicke was inaccurate, but just because Lattimore had great coverage. Gibson, 2 catches, 12 yards. I still think they need to target our running backs more. I mean, McKissick only had 1 catch. Gibson had 2. And yeah, Curtis Samuel got targeted once, but that's really unfortunate that he got hurt. And Ricky Seals-Jones, I really like what I saw from him. 5 catches, 41 yards, had 8 targets. We got lucky that call didn't get overturned, but he also had like a 30-plus yard play where it got called back, and it's unfortunate because Wes Schweitzer, it was a designed run play, terrible snap by Chase Roulier, and it just, the lineman thought it was a run, so they went past the 1 yard. You only allowed 1 yard, and then he was called, an eligible man downfield. And one thing I saw like 3 or 4 snaps from Chase Roulier that were really, really high. I'm not sure what the problem with that is. Maybe he's injured, but he was able to play through the whole game. That's something that I'm wondering about because his snaps were not good at all. And then also the coaching, Rivera went for some really weird 4th downs. He went for a 4th and 10, which, we were in field goal range. Again, it is Dustin Hopkins, but he has said that he trusts Dustin Hopkins, and if you do, then let him kick the short, the 52-yard field goal or 53-yard field goal, whatever it was. And they went for it on 4th and 14, which when they did that, I was disagreeing with it. I didn't think they should have done that, but they did. It worked out. But that's just something I wanted to talk about. A little bit weird out there. Offense struggled today. Even though they put up 22 points, I really think that, the defense sometimes actually put them in good situations where the offense should have came down with some more points. Heinicke had a red zone interception, and we also just had we had a couple of field goals in the red zone as well. That's got to be better next week. And yeah, really disappointing loss. 2-3, could have been 3-2 if not for a couple blown coverages and some mistakes by our offense. And the schedule's really tough, so we're going to have to play way better if we want to win any of these games in the next few weeks. Again, guys, make sure to check out WinView. They're a great site. Use the link that's in the description and on the screen. Some really great deals out there. Peace, guys.